So, it's been a little while, and a lot has happened, as you can probably see in the background already. In any case, hello everyone, and welcome to devlog number 4. Last time, we talked about a lot of the back-end systems I've been building, things like the enemy manager, the player checkpoint system, and the new root motion for certain actions. Additionally, some of the larger changes I made, like a new main menu and the other dev levels, all just trying to really play around with the actual art assets, lighting, sequences, and just overall functionality. Here, on the main menu alone, you probably are noticing a lot of new changes. I've made some new materials to facilitate things like the light, shaft, and fog, using some distance fades and basic masking, as well as particles like the embers, and just working on the overall lighting of the scene. And while the music you're hearing right now is placeholder, it's actually playing in the level and starts and stops when it loads and unloads. Also, on the art side, you're probably noticing someone in the background. I've already shown off some of the prototype versions of our main character in the past devlogs, but we finally have a sort of done version of him. He still needs some work. If the missing eye and textures and disconnected body parts didn't make it obvious, but he's much closer to the concept art and just generally feels like more of an actual character. To go along with that, I've been working on making some new original animations for him. Little by little, all the placeholder animations from the mannequin will be a thing of the past, though the few places that they do still exist are quite funny. To go along with these new animations, I've created a system that dynamically mirrors animations as needed. As this is a side-scroller of sorts, the animations need to look right from either angle, and when you animate a character facing one way, chances are it won't look right when he's facing the other one. So, to fix that, you can mirror it. Now, as he rotates, you get an inverted animation that looks good from either angle, and it actually kind of cuts animation work in half, since you don't need to create two versions of each. This can also be completely toggled off for animations where it doesn't matter, for things like swimming. I've also added a few different additive animation nodes. For example, right now his ears, tail, and scarf are using something called a trail controller, which simulates drag on certain bones. I've actually animated this effect in by hand on the raw animations, but having the engine add on top of it actually helps create this really bouncy and fluid movement. It does need some tuning and probably a switch to toggle it off for certain animations where it doesn't fit, but I'm loving the overall effect. To go along with all this art stuff, we do have some new technical stuff that is really cool and will be built upon as the project continues to grow. For example, enemies are no longer incredibly dumb. They can actually detect walls and ledges so they don't plummet to their own death. They can find the player and decide whether to engage in combat with proper tracking, and they can now properly navigate through levels using those big level splines we talked about before, and they can even do it over uneven terrain. Altogether now, enemies just have a lot more agency and can actually be a threat since they can find their way around and actually engage the player, and, not throw themselves into the abyss. All in all, I think that about wraps it up for this episode. Thank you again all so much for watching, and thank you for the reception to the other videos. With all these new systems coming online, I'm aiming to have something a little bit more feature complete to show off next time. If you want to see more and want to stay up to date, please do subscribe or join the Discord link down below. Also, if you haven't seen them, I've actually been posting a couple of shorts recently in between the major devlogs. I plan to keep releasing them at a semi-steady pace, since the larger videos do take quite a bit of time to write and edit, but I want to aim to keep you guys updated with all the cool new things as they happen. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.